What is up, everybody? Welcome to the MMA Engine. These are my final thoughts for UFC Vegas 55. We have Holm going against Ketlen Vieira. We have 11 fights to talk about, and kind of like last week, a little bit of a sketchy card. I only have 5 bets here, but yeah, it should be a fun card. Then next week we do have a week off, and then we're right back at it with 10 UFC cards in a row. So it's gonna be a fun summer. Can't wait for it, and yeah, can't wait for this card. So before we get started, if you guys can please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Check out all the other content. Me and Wheezy went live on Thursday for probability. We talked about the lines from a data-driven standpoint. Go check that out if you have not. And yeah, should be a lot of stuff going on. So I say we get into it. Before we do, let's shout out the chat here. We got Tony. What's up, Brady? Love the new probability show with Uncle Wheezy. Let's make some money on this Bellator quality card. Yeah, the card's not great, but if we can make some money, that'll always be great. We have Niles saying, what's up, guys? Good to be here. What is up, Niles? Glad to have you checking in. We got Spencer hanging out as well. What's good? Let's make some money. I agree. That is always the goal. Tony saying, what is up? What is up, Tony? How you doing? We have Bill saying, a bust a move, Brady. Will do, Bill. Thank you for hanging out. But yeah, guys, I say we get into it. 11 fights to talk about. And we'll start with the very first fight of the night. So we have Elise Reed going against Sam Hughes. And yeah, this is a fight that I'm not going to bet on. Last week, somebody actually got mad at me because I was like passing on a lot of fights, but there is no way you can make me bet on a fight like this. Yeah, I think Elise Reed wins, but do I want to lay minus 150 on her? No, not really at all. I feel like Sam Hughes, is going to make this close and competitive, especially if she comes in here with a good game plan. But yeah, on the feet, I like Reed. I like her striking. It looked really good in the McKenna fight, and on top of that, I did think she made some improvements in terms of the takedown defense, the get-up game, the ground game in general against McKenna there. But yeah, on the feet, I do like Reed. Sam Hughes, very, very hittable, kind of eats punches with her face there. But yeah, Hughes, if she can get the fight down to the mat, maybe she can have some success, but her wrestling's not really translated in the UFC as of late. But yeah, just a fight I just don't want anything to do with, especially from like a Draftkings perspective. Like, I'm not touching Reed at 8,500. If anything, it's going to be Sam Hughes at 7,700. But from a betting perspective, literally nothing stands out. I think Reed wins, but do I want to lay minus 150? No. Do I want to bet her by decision at plus money? Not really. So this is a fight I'm just going to stay away from. And yeah, not going to have a bet on this card until like the 4th fight. These first 3 fights, I just don't have a ton of interest in. So I'm going to pick Elise Reed to win, but as far as the betting perspective, I just cannot really get there. Philip saying, what is up? What is up, Philip? How you doing? Tony saying not worth a bet for sure. I mean, yeah, if anything, it's probably even dog or pass with Hughes. I just don't want to bet Sam Hughes. So I'm gonna pass on the first fight of the night, and I'm also going to pass on the second fight of the night, which is going to be Felipe Colares going against Chase Hooper. Yeah, this line just makes no sense to me. I want to fade Chase Hooper just as much as the next guy, but do we really want to go out there and lay minus 180 on Felipe Colares? A guy that I'm really not sure what he's good at outside of being tough. And if we take a look at these guys next to each other, both guys have pretty poor striking. Obviously, you got to favor Colares a little bit. Both guys, not the best wrestling offense. Both guys, not the best wrestling defense. You have Colares coming up a weight class. You have Colares who's going to get a big height and reach disadvantage as well. Like, I feel like on paper, this should be lined a lot closer. Do I want to bet Chase Hooper? No, I don't, but he's taken a year off. Last time he fought was about, 11 months ago. He's got to be making improvements. The last time this guy fought, he was 21. He's not going to go out there, take a year off, train with great guys and get worse. And then Colares, again, is a guy that I just don't know what he's great at besides taking a beating and being tough. This fight primarily does probably play out on the mat. And at that point, it's going to be very competitive. So, yeah, I get it. We all want to fade Chase Hooper. I want to fade Chase Hooper. I faded him in his last fight against Steven Peterson. But do we want to lay minus 180 on a guy in Felipe Colares who I just don't feel like should be minus 180 against literally anybody? So, if anything, again, it's a dog or pass situation, but a fight I really don't want to put any money on. If you guys watched probability last night, we do a PP or a probability parlay, me and Wheezy. And the first leg to that parlay is the fight goes to decision. And the reason we like that so much and why the spreadsheet liked that so much was because both guys are very, very tough. Neither guy has ever been knocked out. Both guys are BJJ black belts. Neither guy has ever been submitted. And we're getting the fight goes to decision at like minus 130 around there. So if anything, it would be a look at that fight goes to decision. But just a fight I don't really want to put any money on. From a DraftKings perspective, I can't really get to Colares at 8,600. If anything, it's going to be Hooper at 7,600. The younger guy, the bigger guy, and this fight primarily plays out on the mat is where Hooper is most comfortable there. So if anything, it's Hooper on DK. But yeah, just another fight I don't want to get too invested in, especially from a money line standpoint. 5 bets for this card is more than enough, Brady. Thanks for the great content. Do appreciate that, Charles. And I totally agree. I totally agree. 5 is honestly even probably too much. Spencer saying Hooper on DK. Yeah, I mean, he's cheap. I don't think anybody's going to play him. And again, the fight is going to play out where he's mostly comfortable. So I do like that. What do you use to rate your DK lineups, or do you make them manually? So if I'm doing cash, obviously I'm going to do it manually, but I do use an optimizer and build typically 150. What is up, B? Let's make some money. I feel this is a setup for Hooper. Smash the leg. Yeah, I feel like that's what they're trying to do, but I just don't. I can't be confident in Chase Hooper at this point. Tony saying, Brady, in the probability show last night, you and Weezy were talking about the spreadsheet being online. Once it comes up, are you guys doing memberships? How's that going to work? Yeah, we're still in the process of talking about that, but the show probability is always going to be free for the people on Thursdays. But we'll talk about it, Tony, over the week. Me and the guys are going to get together. The website should be out in the near future. We have a lot of stuff planned, but yeah, that probability show is always going to be available for the public. That's for sure. Why do you never bet fight goes to decision? Yeah, I actually have more than usual this year, and I've had success doing so at times. But the reason, Paul, is I do be honest, I hate it, man. I hate betting on a fight to go to decision and just sitting there watching them do stuff. I'm like, no, don't do stuff. And it doesn't make it exciting. And I'll be honest, when I bet these overs and these fight goes to decisions, yes, I'm pretty good at betting them. But I just can't watch the fight. It's tough. It's tough. But maybe I should start looking at these fight goes more often. But again, I just don't like doing it. But yeah, that's kind of why, Paul. I like violence. I'm more of a violence guy. What is up, Brad? You think Dusko grinds it out by takedowns? Yeah, we'll talk about that fight, and the line is getting just nuts. And Mushroom, yeah, Brady loves violence, and so do I. I just can't go out there and bet on non-violence. It just I don't know. I don't like it. All right. We will keep moving on. We have Jonathan Martinez going against Vince Morales. And yeah, I like Martinez. He's probably one of my more confident picks on the card. The line has gotten away. Like, I just checked Bet Online a couple minutes before the show started, and Bet Online actually has Martinez, I want to say like minus 280. It was like something crazy. I'll double check, but yeah, this is getting out of hand. I thought like minus 220 was even getting out of hand here. I think Martinez wins. I think it's a good matchup for him, but at the end of the day, Martinez, I just don't trust his chin. See, on Bet Online, he's minus 270. And I think he wins, but my goodness, like if you're one of those guys that, hey, lines don't matter, odds don't matter, here's the winner, bet Martinez in a parlay, but this line is just wild to me. I feel like it could play out closely here, especially if Morales is able to close the distance. But yeah, Martinez, he has the leg kicks, I think, are going to be a factor here. The body kicks, the head kick. But again, that chin really concerns me for Martinez because Morales does hit hard. So yeah, do not love the minus 270 now for Martinez, but I do think he wins. I was tempted in terms of parlaying Martinez around like the minus 220 mark, but ended up passing. Another spot I was kind of looking at was the Martinez by KO or decision double chance on FanDuel and DraftKings. They have it around minus 195. I think that's a better way to improve the price, but minus 270 for Martinez, I just can't get there. But yeah, I like Martinez to win. Don't really want to mess around with any of the props. I could see a KO. I could see a decision, more so decision. But yeah, the price tag is just getting away. As far as DK goes, not going to play any Martinez. Martinez, little to no takedown upside. If anything, it's probably Morales going for takedowns here. But even I don't think he goes for takedowns. And little to no finishing upside. Maybe he can knock out Morales. I don't think it's all that likely. And then on top of that, no control time. Yeah, not like a crazy amount of volume. And 8,900 for Martinez just can't get there. If anything, it'll be some shots on Morales. But a fight as a whole, I don't want to target on DK. But yeah, the picks, Martinez, if you're looking for a parlay piece, I don't think is a terrible parlay piece. But yeah, the line has been getting smashed the last day, like the last 24 hours, the line has been getting absolutely smashed there. I'm actually going Morales for the upset. Yeah, at this price, why not? Like plus, what is he? Plus 230. Like that's nuts. So yeah, I think Martinez wins, but my goodness, the dude's nearly minus 300, and I cannot trust him in a fight where it's going to be on the feet. Morales is going to have his moments, and again, that chin of Martinez just scares the crap out of me. So yeah, don't hate it. Don't hate it. Could you imagine betting Martinez with the fight goes to decision? Every time that glass jaw got hit, he would be sweating exactly. I was sweating both in his last fight against Perez, although he was winning the entire fight. But Perez would have these big moments, and who knows what the judges are thinking nowadays, right? So you're terrified because Perez did drop in the first round. He had success like the end of the second round as well, and yeah, the chin's like a concern. What is up? Just found the channel. Appreciate that. Thank you for hanging out. Glad you are liking the content. We have a lot more to come. Spencer saying Morales on DK. If anything, it's Morales on DK for me. If anything, 7,300. I would appreciate it if he did wrestle. He has a state. He's like a state champion wrestler. I appreciate if he did wrestle, but he just doesn't. If he did that, I'd like him more. But maybe he knocks out Martinez, like we said. Martinez's chin is just not great. But yeah, I don't hate some shots on Morales, but I think it's a good spot for Martinez. What is up, Brandon? Checking in. I'm late. All good. We are just getting started. Have not talked about anything all that exciting yet, but we will be talking about something exciting in the next fight. We have Omar Morales going against Uros Medic. This is my very first bet on the card. And yeah, I have 5 bets. I bet them all on Monday, actually. So I've not added anything since. Just nothing really sticking out. But this was one of the spots that stuck out, very early on. So I have 1 unit on the under 2.5 rounds, minus 110. That line's been hit all week, and rightfully so. But yeah, I like the fight doesn't go to decision, minus 200 on Bet Online. I like the fight won't start round 3. I like the under 2.5 rounds. You have a guy in Uros Medic, 8 fights, has never seen a decision, has never been over 2.5 rounds, has never been to a third round. And Uros Medic even has never been over 1.5 rounds. He's been to the second round once. And in that second round, he did finish within the first 53 seconds. So, yeah, when there's these guys, like these killer be killed guys like a Medic, like a Torres last week, I'm always going to take advantage of these violent spots, especially when they're priced, at a bettable line, which this was at a very bettable line earlier in the week. It has been getting bet all the way to minus 200 now for the fight doesn't go, and I still think that's solid. The only reason I did not go heavier on the spot is just the lack of urgency of Morales. And, Morales does look like he hits very hard, but the knockouts have not really been translating. He's actually a BJJ black belt, and he has finished the majority of his wins by submission, which I think that is a clear as day path to victory here. It's just, we cannot trust Morales to go out there, use his takedowns, use his grappling, and submit Medic. If he did that, I think I'd probably be betting him here at minus 145 if I knew for a fact that he would go out there and use that game plan. But I kind of just think he stands and bangs with Medic. And if he does that, Medic is going to have opportunities early. But we saw when Medic did face some resistance in his last fight against Turner, he kind of broke. He looked tired in the first round, so I think it's Medic in the first round early. And I think Morales, especially if he goes to the takedown route, can finish him early as well. But I think as the fight goes on, it definitely favors the Morales side. So I'm going to take Morales. I'm going to say like a second round finish. But yeah, violence here for me. The fight doesn't go the under 2.5. Fight won't start round 3. And even like the under 1.5 at plus money is not the worst look in the world, considering Medic has never been over that 1.5 round mark. But yeah, 1 unit for me, under 2.5. Minus 110 there, my first bet of the night. I do like me some violence from a DK perspective. Medic, if he wins, 7,800, first round finish, more than likely. Omar Morales, if he wins, I think he's live for that finish as well. If he fights smart, he'll go for takedowns. Medic has literally no takedown defense. And I think Morales is going to have a big advantage on the mat. So I like both sides here, but yeah, this fight should score pretty well on DK, especially at their price tags. And I do think it finishes as well. Do you think Omar can KO Medic? Yeah, I think he can, especially if Medic is tired. I think he can put it on him, but I 100% think he can sub him if he gets the fight down to the mat. But we'll see what happens. If he was smart, he'd get the fight down to the mat. You should add your channels to your MMA Engine page and vice versa. Let's get it to 1,000 and make you some money. Yeah, the goal is to get to 1,000 subs. We're hoping by UFC 275. I think we're like 150 away. So if you guys do enjoy the content, we're putting a ton out. The Probability Show, Lou and Monk doing stuff on Fridays as well. Monk doing stuff throughout the week. Me and Weezy, the main event deep dive. Just a lot of content on the channel. Yeah, if you guys do enjoy it, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, all the good stuff. And we're going to keep trying to grow this thing. Tony liking the under. Yeah, I think the under's solid. A lot of people are on that, and rightfully so. When you have a guy that's never been over 2.5 rounds, those are spots I do like to look at. Mushroom, Morales inside the distance, under 2.5, fight isn't a decision. Yeah, brave violence, and I agree with all of those. Yeah, what is Morales inside the distance? Sitting at about plus 150. I know Brandon is on the Morales by submission, which is around plus 500, plus 600. I think he got it. Morales by sub, he's 30-60, needs the sub, and they both lost by sub on the same card. Yeah, I mean, if he wants to get it, I think he can get it. It's just will he do it is the question. But yeah, I do think Morales is very live for the submission. I'm going with another upset with Medic winning. Yeah, if Morales comes in here and stands and bangs with him, he's going to have his opportunities. So, I agree with you, Jason. Taking under as suggested for safety, I think the under is solid. Almeida inside the distance. Oh, you're getting ahead here. Almeida inside the distance, under 1.5. Fight doesn't go. Almeida round 1. All violence plays for me. Yeah, we're going to talk about that fight really soon. So here we go. Let's do it. We have the people's main event. The people's main event, Jailton Almeida going against Parker Porter. If you guys have not seen the weigh-ins, go check it out. Jailton Almeida looks like 2 weight classes bigger than Parker Porter. Like, it's crazy. Like, Jailton Almeida is supposed to be the light heavyweight coming up to heavyweight. Parker Porter looks like a blown-up middleweight. Like, Almeida was towering over this guy. On paper, I think he has like a 3-inch height advantage. It looked more like 5 or 6 inches to me. Like, he was towering over Parker Porter. It was just crazy to me. A lot of people are on the Porter side this week, which is shocking to me. But if you like Porter, this is how I play it. I'd play Porter and I play him by decision. If you like Almeida, like I do, this is how I would play it. Instead of laying minus 600 on the guy, because there are some question marks. He's coming up a weight class. Parker Porter is, very thick. What happens if he can't get him down? All the good stuff. I think he does, but what happens, right? There are some question marks. If you like Almeida, though, 15 wins. All 15 of them have come under 1.5 rounds. The one fight that went over 1.5 for Almeida, he actually lost, and he lost it by decision. So that's why I'm like, if you like Porter, take that decision prop at plus 1,200. Porter has little to no power, especially for a heavyweight, and I don't see him knocking out Almeida or finishing him, especially by submission, nothing like that. If Porter wins, it's by decision. If Almeida wins, I do think it comes under 1.5 rounds. And I actually think it comes in the very first round. I think he does take Porter down. And once he gets on top, his ground and pound is vicious. He's a BJJ black belt. And I think he finishes Porter early on. But yeah, you don't lay minus 600 on Jailton Almeida. That's kind of nuts. Why not play him by his best win condition, which is that under 1.5 rounds, all 15 wins coming under 1.5. And you even get like a random Porter knockout covered in there as well. So under 1.5 for me, got it at minus 125. It's moved a bit, like minus 140. I still think that's solid. Way more solid than laying minus 600 on the guy. So 1 unit on that. From DraftKings perspective, I have a ton of Almeida. I think he finishes Porter very early on. And, I was worried DraftKings would price him at 9,500 or 9,600, but no, they priced him accordingly, 9,400, made him very playable. And I'm going to have a ton of Almeida. Porter, 6 losses, 5 of them coming inside the distance. And then the other loss was a DQ. So when he's losing, he is losing inside the distance. And I think Almeida finishes him very, very early on. And I don't know, derails the weird Parker Porter hype train. I mean, I just can't believe there's hype on this guy, but there is. People love him. But I think that gets derailed in a very violent way in the very first round. I put a 0.5 unit flyer on Porter just in case he gets lucky. What I'd recommend for people that want to bet Porter, as a lot of people are, the decision only for Porter would be a way I'd look. I think it's like plus 300 and something. Or from a live betting standpoint, if Porter does survive that first round, why not live bet Porter after the first round? I think he'll even be probably a bigger dog than what he is now. But yeah, I think Almeida gets him done early. But yeah, Tony, half unit flyer. Anything can happen, and there are some question marks with Almeida. So Almeida probably finishes in round 1, but if not, Porter by his fat, sweaty decision is on the table. And yeah, it could be. It could be. Does Porter have a shot at going over 1.5? I don't think so, but if it goes over 1.5, I'm actually concerned about Almeida even winning the fight. I think it does finish early. Porter makes it only if he attended the armbar herd school of grappling. I believe Porter is like a brown belt. He's a good grappler. But Almeida is the much better grappler. No matter who wins, UFC needs to book Porter versus Jake Collier. Yeah, that would be a good fight for sure. Brady, I know this has nothing to do with UFC, but Mito Pereira is -8. My goodness, that is crazy. There you go. He's in first place then, right? First or second? Almeida all day, every day, twice on Sunday. I think it's a pretty good spot for Almeida. Almeida by prison stuff. I'm not sure what that is. I've never been to prison, but I think he does win in the first round. Uh, would you take Park to win or the fight goes to distance? Fight goes to distance in that one. I think he knocks out Porter. Yeah, I mean, it could happen. Almeida was having success against Porter the last fight, which was weird. And then Lusang one behind Zalatoris. There you go. There you go. On fire. All right. Now let's keep moving on. We have, yeah, I guess this is a featured prelim, which is shocking. I can't believe this is actually a fight, and it's actually in the UFC. Joseph Holmes, Alan Amedovski. We have Holmes, who is -190, and Alan Amedovski is +165. Yeah, this is another violent spot. This is probably my favorite spot on the card, on a card where I don't have a ton of action. And like I said, it's a very sketchy card. This is my biggest bet. And it's a 1.5 unit play on the fight. Doesn't go to decision. And I got it at -230. Looks like on DraftKings they have it -250. And then if you have 5 dimes, money's actually coming in on the fight goes to decision. And it's -215 for the fight doesn't go on 5 dimes there in this fight. And then also, if you guys watched probability last night, this was the second leg to our probability parlay. We have the fight goes to decision in the Hooper fight, parlayed with the fight doesn't go to decision in the Amedovski fight. And why we did like that spot so much is because both Joseph Holmes and Alan Amedovski have a 100% finish rate. Neither guy has ever won a decision, and I don't really see that changing here, especially when you take a look at the fight stylistically. What is Amedovski going to go in there and to do? He's going to go in there and try to take off Joseph Holmes' head. And I mean, it could happen. I don't think Joseph Holmes is that great. I don't think he's UFC caliber. Amedovski could knock him out early. And then on the flip side, Holmes, I think he could also knock out Amedovski. Holmes has some power in his own right. He's going to have a big hide and reach advantage. And then especially if he gets the fight down to the mat, Holmes is a brown belt. And I think he submits Amedovski. If he does get him down, Amedovski seems to have little to no ground game. But yeah, I think this fight does end. I think it does end probably in like the first round. Just a weird mess of a fight. I don't recommend laying -190 on Joseph Holmes, but I will pick him to win. I'll take him to get the sub, but I like violence here. I think it covers both sides. The fight doesn't go is not at like a ridiculous price for both guys having that 100% finish rate. I think it's a solid parlay piece. You want to play it straight like I did, that's fine. The under 2.5. The fight won't start round 3. I think I saw it like -136 on FanDuel is solid. But yeah, I like violence in this fight, if anything. But my goodness, this is a low level fight, probably one of the lower level fights of the year. But and it's the feature prelim, which just shows you how awesome this card is. But yeah, give me Holmes for the win. From a DK perspective, you got to play both sides. I think Holmes is live for an early finish. I think Amedovski's live for an early finish. Amedovski by knockout, Holmes by sub. Knockout could also be live, but I think this does finish, and I think it does finish very early on. Brandon got the plus 250. Yeah, that's crazy. And like now it's plus 100. So yeah, good snipe there. Very good snipe. On Caesars, y'all need to hop on an account. Yeah, I need to get to Caesars. It's crazy, and they're doing good at getting lines out. What is up, Brady? Congrats on your goal before your wedding. Looking good, brother. Appreciate you. What is your favorite play for this weekend? My favorite play for this weekend, and again, this is a card where I hate this card from a betting perspective. My favorite play is the fight doesn't go in the Holmes Amedovski fight, but even that, I'm not overly confident in. Both guys are just not UFC caliber. But yeah, both guys 100% finish rate, and yeah, got it -230. I think that's my favorite play, but yeah, not a ton sticking out in this card. Fight doesn't go parlay with Holly Holm -104. There you go. I like that parlay. Parlay Tony with Hooper over 1.5. Tony. Who's Tony? Amedovski first round KO. Yeah, it could happen. And I think that was like plus, I don't know. I want to say it was like plus 800, like first round KO for Amedovski. Like that's how he wins. Let me double check. But yeah, first round KO for Amedovski could be something to look at. If I can find it. So Amedovski to win in the first round is plus a that. Oh, yeah, it's plus 1,000. Wow. And Wadowski round 1 KO is plus 1,000. I mean, that's how he wins. So, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Fight doesn't get a decision is a great call. Brady, more violence. Yeah, I think it's probably my favorite violence spot on the card. Dusko for the win. KO ground and pound. Yeah, we'll talk about that fight very shortly. A really good fight there. But before we continue, if you guys can leave a like, subscribe if you are enjoying the content. Really do appreciate all the likes and all that good stuff. My betting breakdown video will be out tomorrow morning on my channel, DFS by the Numbers, Saturday morning. And then me, Wheezy, Narco Cop, and Eric Betts Fights will be going live 1 hour prior to the prelims to give our best bet for this entire card. So make sure you check that out tomorrow. But yeah, we have Jung Park going against Eric Anders. We have Park, who is minus 205, and then Anders plus 175. And somebody asked me earlier, would I rather play Park at minus 205 or would I rather play the fight goes to decision at a better? I think the fight goes to decision is around like minus 180, something like that. And the answer is going to be that fight goes to decision, if anything. I think Park wins. I think it's a solid spot for him. What I really liked about Park when I looked into the tape was his striking. Just really impressed me. Great combinations, lots of volume. We have one guy in Park who throws a lot of volume. We have another guy in Anders who is kind of one shot at a time. Has more power, but I feel like Park's going to be winning the striking exchanges pretty cleanly. But for Anders to win, and I do think he has the path to victory, it's going to be to clinch against the cage, take down Park, who has a 47% takedown defense. And if Anders can do that, and if he can do it for 3 rounds, I think Anders is live to win. But I just don't know if he has the cardio to do that for 3 rounds. And I do think this primarily does play out on the feet. And at that point, I do think Park's going to be the minute winner here. But yeah, minus 205 is definitely up there for a fight that should play out very closely. But the fight goes to decision. Minus 180. It's actually minus 164 on FanDuel. I think I'd look that way. I mean, if there's a finish in this fight, like, I don't know. Park's very durable. Anders is very durable. I don't really see a submission either side. Yeah, I think it goes to decision. So, yeah, if anything, it's the fight goes to decision. But another fight I'm staying away from a DraftKings perspective. Yeah, Park 9K. I mean, if he wins, maybe he can get some takedowns, lots of volume. I guess to be more interested in Anders just based off the price savings. Big savings for Anders here, but he's low volume. He should wrestle. So maybe if he does win, some takedown upside, but just a fight I'm not overly looking forward to, honestly. But I'll take Park for the win, but not confident enough to bet him. Like I said, that fight goes to decision was something I was looking at, and FanDuel opened it at minus 150. Would have loved to get that, but it moved instantly to minus 164. So yeah, I'm going to pass. Picks Park, and then I do like the fight goes to decision. For some reason, I'm leaning Anders decision. Anders by decision is like plus 350. Yeah, I mean, if he has a good game plan, he definitely could win by decision. Anders looked bad on the scales. Yeah, I did not look great, but I think he'll be fine. I have the fight doesn't go decision in the Chidi fight parlay with the over 1.5 in the Hooper fight minus 104. Yeah, I like it. I'm late. What did I miss? You missed a very fun Almeida Parker Porter breakdown, but outside of that, not a ton. What is up, Uncle Wheezy? Park by decision. Yeah, Park by decision. I think it's better than the minus 205. Park by decision is like plus 100. Fight goes to decision. Another good call. Not a violence call, but I like it. Hope Anders wrestles a bunch. If he does, he's definitely live for that win. Can you see Park on DK being optimal? On this card, I guess I could, but on any other card, like with a 12 or 13 fight card, I probably wouldn't play him, but just because we only have 11 fights, and I guess I could in a win, yeah. So I do have some Park, but not overly excited about it. But we'll keep moving on. We have a couple fights left. This is the MMA Twitter fight of the week. I've seen so many people talking about this fight, so many posts, so many pictures, and people are excited about it. And it's on the main card. We have Tabitha Richie going against Pauline Viana. And unfortunately, I do have a bet on this fight, and I do have a bet on Tabitha Richie, and I have it at minus 115, and I put 1 unit on it. Man, do I feel great about it? No, but I do think she has the clear path to victory here. Pauline Viana is not a minute winner. She's a moment winner, and you can see that with her 100% finish rate. She has a 40% takedown defense. When fighters try to take her down, I mean, you can get her down. She has little to no resistance. She wants to be on her back. And I just don't see that working against Tabitha Richie, who is a judo black belt, a BJJ black belt, very good grappler. And I think Richie's going to be able to get takedowns whenever she wants. It's just, can Pauline Viana armbar Tabitha Richie from guard? If she can, that okay. But I just feel like it's going to be tougher to do that against a black belt in Richie than it was against Emily Whitmire, who was submitted like 5 or 6 times at this point. Mallory Martin, who's been submitted like 2 or 3 times at this point. I think Richie gets takedowns, gets on top, and stays there throughout the fight. But it's a fight you can't be confident in. Low-level women's MMA. If you like Viana, I'd bet inside the distance or submission, plus 415, because I just don't see Viana winning minutes. Unless Richie comes out here and wants to test her striking for some reason for 15 minutes, then sure, Viana could win a decision. But that's not Richie's game. She's going to march forward. She's going to go for takedowns. And when she does go for takedowns, she'll have no problem getting them. So I think Viana's sub or bust, and the line didn't make sense to me. So yeah, I put 1 unit on Tabitha Richie minus 115, and we'll see what happens. Looks like the line went out to like minus 130, minus 135, but it is coming back down. And I think more money is going to keep coming in on Viana. I was checking out the live weigh-ins, and the people in the chat were talking about they're picking Viana because she looked better. So maybe people are going to be betting Viana here because she did look better at the weigh-ins, I guess. But yeah, money's coming back in on Viana. So if you like Richie, I'd wait. If you like Viana, I'd probably jump on now. But yeah, I like the Richie side. I think Viana is completely submission or bust there. From a DK standpoint, yeah, Richie 8,300. If she wins, takedowns, control time, decision, maybe a submission. And if Viana wins, it's a submission off her back. So I think this fight is a sneaky one to target on DraftKings. I feel like Richie wins by decision, possible sub. Yeah, if Veronica Macedo can submit you, Richie could as well. I have Richie at minus 116, easy value. I do think there's some value on the line for sure. Like, she's going to be the clear minute winner. Brandon's saying the best uncle out there. I agree. What's up, Weezy? Enjoy your guys' content together. Yeah, I enjoy doing content with Weezy for sure. Mushroom saying a Richie 3rd round decision. There you go. I like it. Richie by decision is like plus 185. That's not terrible. But again, Veronica Macedo submitted Viana in the 1st round, which that would kind of concern me there. Papa Chuck made it. What is up, Papa Chuck? UFC has been matching up the cute fighters lately. Yeah, well, we'll see which one wins here. Fight to end in sub and the best value in the fight. Yeah, the fight to end in submission is plus 200. So yeah, I think that's better than like the fight doesn't go to decision. I always get burned on women's MMA. Yeah, tell me about it. But I still haven't learned how to bet on them. Yeah, I get burned as well. Almost got burned last week with Caitlin Chukagan. Ended up cashing that. I didn't watch the fight. I didn't want to, and I haven't went back and watched it. And I'm probably not, but yeah, women's MMA has not been my strong suit. So we'll see what happens. But I do think that Richie is a clear minute winner here. Kind of similar to the Chase Super fight. Do you see Richie playing around too much of Viana's guard? I absolutely see her playing around there. I think that's her path to victory. But like I said, Viana, if she wins, it's an armbar from guard. I think their BJJ is going to cancel each other out, and it's going the distance. Yeah, I think it does as well, but I think it's more so with Richie kind of lay and pray. And then definitely staying away from this fight, and I do not blame you at all, staying away from this fight. But we'll move on. We have 3 fights left. We have Chidi and Jaquani going against Dusko, Todorovic, and yeah. So I do my research on like Sundays mostly, sometimes earlier, and I liked Chidi. And I was like minus 190. And I was like, I don't know, minus 190. You go back and you watch tape on Chidi from just a couple of years ago, and there are like a ton of red flags of the guy. The guy's getting taken down easily. His ground game does not look good. He looks bad off his back. He's gassing out in fights. He's quitting in fights. His chin does not look great. Like, there's a ton of red flags on Chidi just going back to a couple of years ago, prior to the Mark Andre Barrio fight and prior to the Souza fight on the Contender Series. Like, there are some red flags with this guy. And, I think he has made improvements. He looks like a completely different fighter, but just going back and seeing, all that stuff, kind of scary a little bit. And then also seeing that he's been finished in 6 of 7 losses, that scares me too. It scared me enough to not bet on Chidi at minus 190. But we take a look at the odds now, and I'm checking Bet Online as we speak, and Chidi is now minus 260. Minus 260. Dusko's plus 220. Like, what happens if Chidi gets taken down? What happens if Dusko gets on top? We have seen Chidi get taken down. and we have seen him quit in fights before. Like, what happens if Chidi does not knock him out early? Yeah, I don't know. Minus 260 is just not sit right with me. But yeah, I like Chidi to win. I like him to win by knockout. I guess BetOnline did open up the knockout prop at like plus 155. I probably should have played it there, but it's now plus 105. I think Chidi knocks him out, but it's the money line. I don't know. Fight doesn't go to decision. Solid, I guess. Minus 205. Let's see if any other books got that fight doesn't go line out, because earlier, just a couple books. So the fight doesn't go to decision. Looks like BetOnline doesn't even have that out. So 5 Dimes has minus 195, and then FanDuel has minus 250. So yeah, I think it finishes, but not a bet I'm like running to the window for. But yeah, Chidi by knockout, but the line is kind of scaring me. From a DraftKings perspective, I like both sides. Chidi 8,700. I think he can absolutely knock out Dusko, who has no striking defense. And then Dusko 7,500. I think he'll be low owned. If he can get on top of Chidi, I think he could have some success. And even on the feet, maybe a little bit of success, but he's not going to want to mess around on the feet with Chidi all that much. I think he gets knocked out. But yeah, minus 260 for Chidi. I don't know. I didn't really want to bet it at minus 190, and now it's minus 260. Just a pass for me, honestly. I say fight doesn't go to decision. For the Chidi fight, yeah, I'm with you there. I think it does, and it's at the distance. I don't like Dusko's tall man defense when he's a shorter man. Yeah, Chidi did look much bigger, and I don't like it as well. Dusko needs to fix his tall man's defense. Yeah, he does. It's a problem, especially in this fight. You do not want to have that striking defense against Chidi. Chidi hits like a truck. Chidi minus 260 recency bias for sure. Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Dusko has no chin in his hands down, but can easily take Chidi down. Probably, yeah, if he takes him down, it could get very interesting. But yeah, I do agree there's some recency bias, but I'll still pick Chidi to win. I'll pick him to probably win in the first round. Brandon saying the fight doesn't go to decision, minus 200 on DK. Yeah, it could be a parlay piece, because you take a look at it, like Njokuani's been finished in 6 of 7 losses, and then Dusko's been finished in half his losses. So yeah, fight doesn't go to decision, minus 200 is probably not the worst play in the world. Chidi looked 5 inches taller at face-offs, but according to UFC stats, they're only like 2 inches apart. Yeah, there are a couple of those fights today. Like Almeida, I think, is like 3 inches taller on paper, but he was like 6 inches taller than Porter. But yeah, Chidi did look much, much bigger. Chidi's early career is not impressive. Yeah, and that's, yeah, I kind of went back and watched his earlier career, not too early, but 2018, 2019, and there's just a lot of stuff I didn't like. So I do like potential for violence in this fight, absolutely. But we'll move on to the co-main event. We have Michelle Pereira going against Ponzinibbio. So Uncle Weezy did a balls deep breakdown on the MMA Engine channel earlier in the week on, I believe it was Monday. So if you've not checked that out yet, go check it out. He goes really deep into that. But yeah, this is a fight that I think does play out close. A lot of people on the Pereira side, and I get it. He's looked very good as of late. He's not doing all those shenanigans, but I kind of like the Ponzi side here, and we see the line. Looks like Pereira minus 135 now, minus 134 on FanDuel, minus 140 on DraftKings. I just see, what I liked looking back at the tape for Ponzinibbio is, first of all, his striking is very good. Second of all, I like the pressure he brings. I went back and watched the Baeza fight, and what he did instantly was he started to pressure Baeza, and I feel like if he comes in here with that game plan, I feel like he can have a lot of success. Pereira, likes to move around, and Ponzi, if he can pressure him against the cage, like, I don't think Pereira is going to be very comfortable. And on top of that, how many times we've seen Pereira slow down as the fight went on? And the answer to that is every time. Every time the fight gets extended, Pereira does slow down. So Ponzinibbio, what is he now, 35 years old, has not looked amazing since his return, but I feel like if he does pressure, I feel like he can make this very competitive, and I feel like he can kind of take over as the fight goes on. But yeah, this fight's close. If anything, it's a dog or pass with Ponzi, but even then, I'm not running to the window for it. And it looks like some money's coming back in on Ponzi. So I don't think the line's going to get too much wider. But I'm going to take Ponzi for the upset, but no bet here. I think Ponzi by decision at plus 215 is very interesting, because Pereira in 10 losses, he's only been finished twice. One by knockout, one by sub. So I think Ponzi by decision is interesting. Let's take a look at where they have that on FanDuel. Plus 240 on FanDuel, plus 240 on DraftKings for that Ponzi by decision. I think that's how he wins. If you like Pereira, I guess he could knock out Ponzi early on, but I think this fight does go to decision. The fight goes to decision, minus 148 on FanDuel. I don't hate But yeah, this fight should be close. I feel like it should be very close. From a DK perspective, yeah, I don't love this fight from a DK perspective. I guess if anything, probably Ponzi for me just for the savings there. But Pereira, not a ton of volume, not a ton of finish upside. Maybe he can take down Ponzi, and then kind of the same thing with Ponzi. Ponzi's not going to take down Pereira. He's just going to march him down and land a lot of shots. So not a fight I'm overly excited for from a DraftKings perspective. But I'll take Ponzi for the upset here. But just not confident enough to lay down a bet. No doubt, I have no clue at all why the UFC fighters or the UFC allows fighters to lie about their height. Doesn't make a lick of sense. Yeah, it's crazy. Like the Chukagan Heat Boss fight last week almost costed me. Um, I thought that Chukagan was going to tower over Heat Boss. I thought that it was going to look like Almeida Porter, but saw the weigh-ins and Heat Boss was like 2 inches shorter. It was supposed to be like 6 inches, and I bet on Chukagan because of the size. So that almost costed me, and Chukagan almost lost that fight. So glad it hit him. My goodness, yeah, it's not. I would like accurate height and reaches. That'd be nice. Uncle Weezy, we need to start a fund to fly you out to events to measure the fighters. I totally agree, Weezy. You should start going to every event and just measuring the fighters and get it right. That'd be awesome. Chidi, maybe a late bloomer. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is the best he's ever looked. He's now like 33 years old. He's looking really good. Chidi Chidi Bang Bang, yeah, I think he does knock out Dusko early. 50-50 fight, yeah, it's close. I think Pereira probably has success early, but I think the pressure is going to kind of slow him down there. Can we get Uncle Weezy's special ass shaving of the week now? Go watch is just the tip. He did it on Tuesday, and we'll also talk about it, I'm sure, tomorrow on the best bet. But yeah, I do agree with Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. Playing the fight doesn't go decision here. I just see someone getting finished, maybe even the under 2.5. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning the other way, but a finish would not completely shock me. Like Pereira early, Ponzinibbio late would not completely shock me. But Pereira, his durability is just next level. Ponzi scheme for the win. Ship is upright. Solid pick, in my opinion. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's a close fight. Pereira is starting to put it together better, definitely. I mean, he's not fighting like a complete idiot now. This is the smart Pereira we were talking about. Yeah, he's much, much smarter than earlier in his career. Like the Diego Sanchez fight, the Tristan Connolly fight. He has looked to fix a lot of those things. Ponzi by decision. Good luck. Good luck to you as well, Zach. Let's get into the main event here. Me and Wheezy, we do a main event deep dive every week on the MMA Engine channel on Mondays. We went deep into this fight. We talked about it from a betting perspective. And yeah, once we were talking through this fight, I'm like, man, I like Holm, and I like her a lot. I like her in every single aspect of this fight. Holm, she's going to have a massive cardio advantage. Her cardio is always on point. She's always in great shape. Ketlen Vieira slows down in 3-round fights. And I just thought to myself, like, what is the path to victory for Ketlen Vieira? Is she going to go out there and outstrike Holm for 5 rounds? Absolutely not. On the feet, it's Holm all day. Vera, low volume. She's absorbing more than she's giving out. Holm, the much, much better striker. And I guess Vera, her path to victory is going to be getting this fight down to the mat. And I just struggle to see her consistently wrestling for 5 rounds. I mean, she struggles to do it for 2.5 rounds. How is she going to go out there and take down Holm consistently for 5 rounds? I just don't see it. I guess Vera, maybe she comes out here, gets Holm down early, has some success. But, as the fight goes on, I think she's going to slow down. I think Holm's going to take over. And I think Holm has good takedown defense. And you take a look at who Holm is losing to, and it's champions. It's GDR, it's Amanda Nunes, it's Cyborg, Misha Tate back in the day. When she's losing to the best of the best. And I just don't think Vieira is up there. Just have never been really impressed with Vieira. I think she's good. She's solid, but stylistically, outside of Holm being 40, like that's the one thing I'm worried about. The one thing I'm worried about is Holm being 40 and a big layoff. If this fight was like a couple months after the Aldana fight, I'd probably be even more confident in Holm. She looked phenomenal in the Aldana fight, but since then, it's been like a 1 year, 8-month layoff, something crazy like that. She's now 40 years old, about to turn 41. But literally, that's the only thing that's scaring me away here. I think this is a good matchup for Holm, and I do have a bet on her. I didn't want to go crazy on it. I have 1.5 units on Holm, minus 230. The reason I did not want to go crazy on it was because of the age. Like, that's the one thing that has held me back from going heavier. But yeah, I think Holm, solid parlay piece. The line's actually coming down now. You can actually get her at minus 220 on DraftKings Sportsbook. So maybe the line comes down even more, which It doesn't make much sense to me, honestly, outside of Holm being 40, like I said. But yeah, Holm, I think she's in a good spot here. I really do. But how confident can you really be in a 40-year-old coming off of nearly a 2-year layoff, right? So give me Holm. Holm probably by decision. I know a lot of people are on the Holm 4 or 5 decision as well. Um, I would not bet the fight goes to decision just because Vieira has been knocked out in the first round by Aldana. And then Vieira, I do question her gas tank, especially if Holly can put a pace on her. So yeah, Holm 4 or 5 decision, probably the best way to look. I think it's like minus 145. I don't hate that. From a DraftKings perspective, I think Vieira from a cash game perspective, solid. I think she even has early takedown upside. I think she probably does last 5 rounds. So I think she has a nice floor, that $7,100 price tag. And then Holly Holm, I don't mind her for cash. Don't mind the stack this week. I think it probably does go 5 rounds. Holly Holm for tournaments, that's where it gets a little bit tricky. I do think she wins, but I don't see her going out there and getting many takedowns against Vieira. I don't see her really finishing Vieira, especially early. I think there are better plays than Holly Holm, but she seems safe to me. So I like her in cash as well. But yeah, give me Holly Holm, 1.5 units, minus 230. What did the lines open up at for this fight? The money line. So Holly Holm opened up as a minus 210 favorite, and she's now minus 250. It looks like it's coming back down. Looks like she's minus like 230 now. Holm by 50-45 unanimous decision. Yeah, I think it's on the table. Grandma Holly blowing out the scapula in her victory. Time to cut the gloves. I mean, she looked really like her last performance against Aldana looks like the best she's ever looked. So unless she's like completely, I don't know, unless she looks completely washed and old this fight, I think it's a good spot for her. Holly by boring decision or cardio for the win. Yeah, her cardio is probably the biggest advantage here. I like this week's probability parlay definitely going to hit. I hope so. I like it as well. It's the Hooper fight goes to decision with the Holmes fight doesn't. It's actually like plus 150. She opened up at minus 210. Holy by point fighting and lots of hayas. Yeah, I like it. Holmes' best fight was her destruction of Ronda Rousey, and that was like almost 10 years ago at this point. Fun fact, Cyborg is younger, looks older by far. Yeah, Cyborg's not too old, right? Who are you more confident in, Martinez or Holm? Holm, but I do like both. Those are probably two of my most confident picks on the card. And then also, of course, Almeida, but he's minus 600. Holm is so good. Vieira's path is to wrestle and get control time like Sterling did against Jan. Outside of that, or a sub, Holly should cruise. Yeah, I just don't think that Vieira can do that and then do it for 5 rounds. Like she struggles to do it for 3. So, and then Holly's like no scrub on the mat, and her takedown defense is good. I think she should be fine. Cyborg 36. Mushroom saying, thanks, Brady, for all your hard work. Enjoy your week off. Appreciate that. Mushroom, between the weight loss, marriage, and the crap cards as of late, you have had to tape, study, enjoy, brother. Yeah. Trust me, it was not easy having to tape, study Pauline Viana versus Hannah Cyphers, but it was done. And we'll see what happens with that fight. Oh, no. Lock of the card is Tabitha Richie. Yeah, nothing's a lock, especially Tabitha Richie, but I do think she wins, and she is one of my 5 bets on the card, but yeah, definitely not a lock. Who are your favorite dogs on this card? Ponzinibbio. I think Dusko's somewhat live, but yeah, Ponzinibbio, probably one of my favorites. And then other than that, I'm picking Chase Hooper as a pretty decent-sized dog, but that's a mess of a fight. I think Sam Hughes is live. I think a lot of these dogs are live. Like Eros Medic is going to have his opportunities. Amedovsky is going to have his opportunities. A lot of these first-round or bust guys. But yeah, I think there's a lot of live dogs. Thanks, Brady. Props to you and Uncle. Props to you for hanging out. Richie, by what prop are we thinking? I'm thinking decision, but I would not completely roll out the sub. Cyborg, Jessica Andrade. Yeah, that'd be a fun fight. Good luck, folks. I hope you all crush it this weekend on a tough card. Thanks for all the hard work. Really enjoy the content. Appreciate that a ton. Just going to quickly recap my bets, and then we'll get out of here. Again, it's another light week. Somebody got really mad at me last week because I was like passing on every fight, but my goodness, last week was rough. This week's rough. Ended up being successful last week and hopefully successful this week. But yeah, another light card. My biggest bets are Holly Holm, 1.5 units, minus 225. The fight doesn't go to decision in the Amedovsky Holmes fight, minus 230, 1.5 units as well. And then I have a 1 unit bet on Tabitha Richie, Omar Morales Medic under 2.5, and then the Jonathan Almeida Parker Porter under 1.5 rounds. So yeah, another light week. I hate this week from a betting perspective. I really do. But let's get a win and let's go take this week off and come back and crush it for 10 weeks in a row. So, and then I already have a bet for UFC 275. I'm looking forward to that. They already have props out, which is nuts for a card that's happening in a month. So, going to take the week off, try to get ahead a little bit, do stuff with the guys at MMA Engine, and yeah, we're working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So that should be coming in the very near future as well. Appreciate you, Papa Chuck. You enjoy your week off as well. Free money is Richie and Park. Nothing's free money, but I do like them both to win. Thanks, bro. Enjoy the fights. Have a great week off, man. You have a great week off as well. Super early line releases. I love it. Yeah, it's like a month early, buddy. Yeah, guys, my head out. Best of luck to you all. Leave a like, subscribe. Let's get this channel to 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully by UFC 275. Let's keep growing the channel. And yeah, go check out Probability if you have not yet. Probably one of my favorite shows to do outside of like Stat Diggers on Sunday. But yeah, lots going on, guys. Best of luck. And let's make some money and let's keep the ball rolling. See you guys.